rumor, Kate, that the United's new owners want Zidane. I know Man United have fallen off in the last decade, but still one of the biggest, most famous, most powerful clubs in the world. Do you think United now, with the new ownership, with the structure we're building, have the pull to convince Zidane to come to England?
I think they've got the pull because they are Man United, but do I see it happening? No. I mean, he's been linked with Man United several times before. I just don't see him coming. You've got the pull of a massive club, one of the biggest clubs in the world, and the chance for someone to come in and bring them back to how they used to be, to build them up. But I don't think it's a very attractive prospect going to Manchester United at the minute. You've got a stadium that's falling down. You've got a team that's really disjointed with not many superstars. When you think of the Manchester United squads of old, there was always, massive superstars in the squad. You haven't got that now. And for me, I just don't find it attractive enough for Zidane. I can understand why Man United want him, but for me, no chance. I don't think there's any chance you'll get him, in my opinion.
I disagree with you completely. The guy's out of a job. Nobody wants him. Nobody's asking for him. Real Madrid just renewed with Ancelotti. France isn't hiring him. I think he would want the job. I think he's the one who should. I'm sorry, with all due respect to everyone. I watched Terry yesterday with LB and Dan Potts, and they were talking about why would a manager go to Man United. I think Zidane would go to Man United. He doesn't have a job. Why is everybody thinking that Zidane is sitting on the couch, people? He goes to Man United. I'm sorry. This is truth. Yes, Zidane won La Liga with Real Madrid, but he won the Liga with a fantastic, brilliant, amazing Real Madrid. He won the Champions League with arguably one of the best sides. Again, people said that with Bale, Modric, Kroos. He is a good manager. He's very direct. I actually think he's like Klopp. He's a good manager. He actually is a very direct brand of football. I think it would suit the Premier League a little bit because you need someone who's direct, who has this man management, strong personality. And he doesn't have a job. And we've been hearing about him taking the France job and taking Real Madrid job for 2 years now, and it hasn't happened. Nobody offered him the job. So why not go to Man United? Well, if there is another guy, Zidane or other people, I actually, on the other hand, for Man United fans out there, I actually don't think Inzaghi or a manager like Xabi Alonso would go to Man United. The people that have jobs wouldn't go to Man United. It's kind of a suicide move for me to go to Man United at the current moment. However, Zidane doesn't have a job, so for him, he's just staying at home. If he goes to Man United and if it doesn't work, he can always say, it's on the board. It's not on me. It's on the players. These players are not good enough. But I think the only option out there is Zidane.
I understand where Kate's coming from. I do. Do you know what I find interesting about Zidane? There is a big part of me that wants him. And then there is this element of me that says he hasn't had a job in 3 years. Yeah. 3 years since May 2001. So it's basically 3 seasons now without a job. Doesn't mean he suddenly becomes a bad manager. And he's also Zinedine Zidane. He walks into that dressing room, and this is what I do believe. I don't think there's a player on earth. There's a few that might think they're bigger than him, but I think he walks into every dressing room currently in Europe, and there isn't a single player that goes, who are you? Genuinely, with what he's achieved as a manager and who he was, I think that element helps. One thing I will say, my club has been an abomination. But I still think we can attract someone like Zidane. I still think it is plausible, especially with new people coming in. I agree. If Sir Jim and the team that are coming in now weren't on their way in, weren't being built, I'd say no chance. I think he would look at it, and I think he is waiting for the right job, by the way. I think that he is in a position where he's going, don't want that mess over there. And I think he'd look at Man United in its current state and say, absolutely no chance. I think there's an opportunity to get him if we're able to show him and convince him that all the problems that have persisted, and I'm sure within the footballing world, behind the scenes, some of this stuff is spoken about and laughed about at such a frequent level. If they can show him these things have been fixed, there's a chance. However, I'm sort of in the middle of you two. I feel that Zidane will say, I love the pitch. I love the idea of being the Man United manager, but come and talk to me when you've shown me these things are fixed. I still don't know if Zidane would take the risk on it, on the promise of it being fixed, as opposed to it having been fixed. And Man United might need to go through a little bit of a period where the next manager that comes in does make us play better football, does guide us through a 2 to 3 year period where the foundations are really being embedded into the club, and then potentially somebody like a Zidane or of that ilk comes in afterwards. That may be where we're at. However, if we announce tomorrow Zidane was going to be our manager, would I be shocked? Like, oh my God, I never saw that coming? No. As much as people and rivals hate this being said, only Real Madrid in the world are bigger than we are from an audience and a commercial side of things. And the reason we're so big commercially is because we have more fans than anybody else. And look, we're not better than most teams right now, but in terms of our greatness and our legacy and what we've achieved, we're up there with all the biggest clubs in the world. There is an attraction to being part of a group and a team that fixes the club and gets it back to the top. This man won a three-peat with Real Madrid, which is ridiculous. I think if he can get Man United back to winning Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues, that's equally as good on your CV, to be the person that rejuvenated Man United, being the head coach or the manager of that. I think is a huge pull to a lot of people. And it's why this idea that we won't be able to sign any top managers, I've seen people say that online. It's the most, maybe not Zidane, but it's the most delusional train of thought I've had. People are just laboring under this illusion that Man United really are irrelevant. Man United really are dead. Man United can't come back. It's crazy talk. Will we get Zidane now? I'd love it. Santi, the journalist that put this out, he hasn't said we're going to get him. He said he's out like our dream target. And he's really credible. He's a really credible guy, Santi. I just don't quite see it being Zidane yet. But do I think it's impossible? No. Not just no. I don't. I back
the
my
only
club
thing
on
you
that
can.
one.
I'm sorry, Terry. I'm sorry. The only thing you can offer is money. For someone that has a job, okay. For example, if you go to Inzaghi at Inter and tell him, yeah, come to Man United, the only thing you can lure the guy in is money. Terry, I'm sorry. If Amorim is going somewhere else, I don't watch a lot of Portuguese league. Right? Like, I'm only hearing about this guy Amorim. Watch him a couple of games, looks good. The style of play looks good. Top of the Portuguese league and all of this. If he's offered Man City or Arsenal or Liverpool and he's offered Man United, he's choosing them unless you offer him more money. Xabi Alonso would choose your club. Thomas Tuchel might choose your club because nobody else is going for him. And I'm not saying this to banter you, Terry. You know me, right? I'm just saying how I see it from outside. You guys think you're still attractive. You aren't. Man United aren't attractive. You aren't.
Why
No, you're not. You're not.
Why?
You're not. I'm telling you why. The players aren't great at the club. The stadium is in a bad place, which is everyone is seeing this. You aren't challenging for the leagues. There are better teams around you that are challenging. You might not attract the top talent in the next year or two. And you think you sell a lot of jerseys around the world. Yes, you do. But the manager wouldn't come to your club because you sell a lot of jerseys. So you can offer him more money. And it's a very high risk, the Man United job. It's a very high risk. You just said it yourself. It's a very high risk.
It is, and I understand. Very high risk. When I say it's not, the manager isn't going to go there. Look, they sell 1.8 million shirts a year. I'm going there. Yeah. The shirt sales and the commercial size is a reflection of how big we are as a football club. That in itself is attractive. I agreed. All those things that are wrong with our club exist. Yes. But how you're selling this club right now, and I believe that some managers, if they believe in themselves and they believe in what Sir Jim and Ineos and Omar Barada are promising, of course it will be attractive. Being the manager who fixes Man United is a huge attraction. Now, some will say, no, I'm going to wait this one out and wait for it to be fixed and then maybe join the football club. There are others that will find that an attractive proposition, because if you are at the helm of the team, the manager, the head of a team and a squad that gets back Man United back to the pinnacle, that's a level of fame. That is a level of achievement within football that's hard to replicate anywhere else, probably barring Real Madrid, potentially Liverpool. It's exponentially bigger than what you could do at any other club. So to say we're completely unattractive I disagree with. Now, money will play a part because when you're also at a big football club like Man United, you've got to be compensated for that 110%.
Yes.
But do I believe that the only way we can get an Alonso or a Zidane is by overpaying them?
It's hope. It's hope.
What's hope?
You literally just said, if you are the one who's fixing Man United, that's fantastic. Which is, I don't disagree.
But they're going to believe. But Mo, they're going to believe. If I came to you, Mo, this is where you're thinking about this from a fan's perspective and not a professional.
I am.
No. Let me give you an example. Let's say I come to you and say my business is broken, Mo. I looked at your CV. I think you can fix it. If you look at my business and go, bloody hell, it's in a mess. But you think of saving that business, getting that business back to performing, plus the compensation and salary I'm getting, that might be a challenge for you. Now, if you didn't believe in yourself, if you thought there's no way I'm going to be able to save this sinking ship, you might walk away from it. But for a lot of business people, for a lot of experts in multiple fields and industries in the world, they see a fallen giant or the potential of resurrecting. Imagine what it would do for you. This is probably going to be an example that goes over your head. But imagine if you were a business executive who got Woolworths back to being the biggest shop on the high street again. But in the UK, if you're a business executive and you managed to rectify Woolworths and you made Woolworths this huge national treasure again, you'd be able to walk into any other job in the world ever. That's attractive to business people.
So hope and money then.
It's not hope. It's not hope.
Hope and money.
Okay, I will concede one bit. Of course, there's an element of hope, but that hope is backed up by your belief in your ability. However, I'm hoping this because I'm not in the interview room. The way that works is by those managers being sold on the direction the club is going in. I agree with you. If they sit down with the gym and Zidane or Alonso, whoever it may be, De Zerbi, and they're being told what the club's going to do, and they sit there and go, I have no faith that Ineos are going to change anything that the Glazers have been doing, then you're right. But I believe they're going to be able to convince people of that. So I don't believe it's.
I agree.
I believe it's about trust rather than hope.
Okay, I agree with you at this point. They can sell them the project. They can sell them the project of like, listen, you'll be back, you'll be this, you'll be that. You can do that to someone who isn't offered something better. You can do this to someone who doesn't have a successful job already. I think you're looking at it from a Man United fan perspective. I'm looking at it from, for example, Inzaghi, for example, because Inzaghi is linked, who's been a successful manager at Inter lately. What about to win the league or this or that? If you go to Inzaghi and you tell him, I'm going to give you the same salary, you're going to go to England, you're going to be more famous, which is just the fact that the Premier League is the biggest watched league in the world. I watch the Premier League more than Serie A, being an Inter fan myself. But you're going to go into this Man United, well, Sir Jim Ratcliffe is going to sell you this project and this and that, but we're going to offer you the same money. He's going to say, but I'm going to win the league in my country. But if you go to Zidane and convince him, that's why in the beginning of my speech, I said, Zidane might join. He's out of a job. But if you go to Xabi Alonso and tell him, well, there is Liverpool and there is Man United at the moment, which one would you take? He would say Liverpool, more stable club. The fact that you said, based on the project, you can fix my club and you'll be fantastic on your resume. But I think the risk is too much for me. I'm looking at it from the risk. You're looking at it from the success point of view.
So again,
you're a Man United fan, of course. You're looking at it as it's going to work.
With Zidane, I agree. He may look at this as being too much of a risk. But the idea that we're not attractive to any top manager in Europe, I think is ridiculous. That's the point I'm making here. Some individuals won't fancy it. You're right. But the idea that if you name the top 10 available managers in the world right now, that none of them find Man United attractive in any capacity or from any angle, I think is an absolute overstatement.
I never said it this way, but you're saying the extreme.
No, I'm not. You said we are completely unattractive. That for me implies
for the managers that have jobs, yes.
But we're not after a manager that's got a job, a bigger club. Not to. Hang on. When you say that, what clubs are you talking about?
What do you? I'm sorry.
So what manager do you talk? Yeah, Pep and Klopp.
A manager, yes. For example, Xabi Alonso. I say, for example,
Xabi Alonso is linked right now to two clubs that he has legendary status at. So yes, I know we're not going to get him.
Okay. Who else? Inzaghi, for example, from Inter, unless you offer him more money, and he isn't like one of the.
Inter Milan's also a very, very big club, so I would agree with that.
So who else then? So can you give me the names and I answer because I know some of the managers. Amarim might move from Sporting Lisbon to Man United, of course.
Yes, so Amarim would be an example. De Zerbi would be an example that you could throw out there.
I think that Zerbi might not join Man United. I think that Zerbi, he's not going to stay at Brighton if he's offered Liverpool or Arsenal.
Do you think, just so we can wrap this up, do you think De Zerbi would find Man United unattractive?
Yes, I think so. He would rather go to AC Milan than Man United. Can you put it this way? He would rather go to Juventus than Man United at the current moment. That's how I'm looking at it. It's very dangerous for me until I see what's going to happen in the summer, how they're going to handle Ten Hag, the players' sale, because he might end up with the Harry Maguires and the Casemiros and everyone that is there. We don't know. Until he sees a good plan of buying and selling players, I absolutely think Juventus are more attractive than Man United at the current moment. I think AC Milan might be more attractive and more stable. Man United, until I see a plan with because at the end the coach will work with the players. If he has the same players, if he has the same squad, if he has
the thing is, I get but you're not going to see that plan until after we appoint a manager. You're not going to start to see it until you start seeing the football that it's producing. So I understand where you're coming from, and your mind will probably change. But if we were, I think we are attracted still to a lot of managers in the world. I still think there is an attraction, although there are problems with what we're now changing internally. That is an attraction. 110% is an attraction to some people. Some managers, though, you're right, will say, not for me right now. And I agree with Kate. I think Zidane might be one of those individuals that says, it's not for me at this particular moment in time. But the idea that we're not going to end up, if we sack Ten Hag, with a manager that's at least got some credibility out there, I think is wrong. And
you aren't going to end up with me. You aren't going to end up with me managing Man United.
I think you're a little bit bitter because Inzaghi's linked to Man United and you're shitting yourself a little bit. Yeah. I think that's what it is. I think there's some bitterness in there, to be honest with you. But viewers, give us your thoughts and feelings. Zidane or, are Man United, better question. Are Man United attractive right now to managers around the world? Give us your thoughts. Give us your feelings on that.